This is my hobby drawer containing paints, and it contains a litany of wastes. First of all, inventory. There's way too much stuff in here and it's hiding defects. There's some dried up paints which have now failed because they're hidden amongst it. It causes over-processing because I have to pick them up and read all the labels individually, and of course that involves excess motion, which in turn wastes human potential. So this one drawer causes almost all of the 8 wastes. So to combat this, I'm going to standardise the paint containers and move them from these old pots into these little dropper bottles, which are far more effective and space saving. So in order to transfer the paint from the original pots into the dropper bottles, I've created this little 3D printable jig here. So you put the paint pot in the top and it's got an interference fit on the pivoting element, and you can carefully control the flow so that it drops carefully and accurately into the paint pot below. Now, as Paul Akers says, lean often leads to product development, and that's exactly what is happening here. And you can tell actually that this paint pot is one of the ones hidden in inventory. It's got really old, thick paint, but it does come out eventually. And this little device here is going to be a digital product, something that I will sell the STL for to hobbyists who also have this problem. And having used the device, it definitely needs a couple more improvements. I think it can be made so that it's 3D printable more easily, so the top uprights will be removable and push into place in some little female receivers, and the paint bottle stand at the bottom I'm going to change to a slot so that I can adjust the position depending on the size of bottles, especially if I'm selling it online. People will have different sized bottles. And as this finishes up, there's just a few more steps to it. I could put a little ball bearing mixer in there, put the nozzle in and put the cap in, and then I just transfer the label across. And this now reveals another problem in that I have some nicely bottled paints, but nowhere to store them. So over the next week or so, I will design and create some paint storage. So introduce some visual controls in order to combat many of those wastes that I identified at the start of the video. And that, again, will be a product, a paint storage rack. So this one improvement has given birth to 2, at least, separate products.